mean, are you staying focused at the task at hand, or do you find yourself ever looking over your shoulder and wondering, when are they going to turn this thing over to Shedeur? Does that ever cross your mind?
No, all I can do is control what I can, and yeah, that's what you got to do.
This is as fair of an opportunity that I can give Dillon Gabriel. I'm giving you 2 weeks against a bad defense, a team that just blew up their team, a team that has 1 win on the season. If it's not today, Dillon will never play a game in his football career that looks like—
You won't believe this actually happened. Something went down behind the scenes that has coaches panicking, players confused, and fans practically losing their minds. A move so unexpected, so chaotic, so wildly out of pocket that people are still asking if it was a prank. Whatever you thought could never happen in sports, yeah, it just happened. And the fallout is already insane. Buckle in, because this twist is about to blow your mind.
And Jimmy Haslam said during training camp that you knew that seeing both young quarterbacks at some point this season was important. So just where is Shedeur at as far as his development, and do you have a timetable of when you would take a look at him?
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to speculate, Daryl. We're committed to getting better as an offense. Dillon is certainly committing to improving every which way he can, and all the while, all of our players.
If you're enjoying, please subscribe Shedeur Sanders to the channel. It helps more than you think. It took just one harmless question at a press conference to turn the entire Browns facility into a full-blown soap opera. One reporter casually asks whether anyone in the room has considered the possibility of Shedeur taking over. Just a tiny little question. Harmless softball, a warm hug wrapped in a microphone.
Right. Might just be fine. He might be a backup quarterback. He'll never look good.
Well, and nobody's expecting him. Like the expectations with Dillon Gabriel was never really franchise quarterback. But like, if you play poorly today against the Jets, you might effectively play your way into being off this roster in its entirety next year. Like, forget being Colt McCoy and a really smart kid that could be around the organization and that could be a backup for 10 years. Like, all that could go out the window. Like, if you can't look serviceable against this Jets team today, I think it's all on the table.
And Dillon Gabriel's face instantly went from press conference mode to "I just heard my boss changed the Wi-Fi password and didn't tell me." The man looked like somebody unplugged him. Mid-dash update.
You keep on putting Dillon Gabriel out there, and the offense does the same exact thing every single week. Yeah. Nothing changes. Yeah. He has 1 good quarter a week, and he has 2 good throws a game. Nothing changes. It doesn't. Put Shedeur out there and see what Shedeur does. If anything, like we just talked about Brian Daboll, if Shedeur comes out there and he balls out and he plays lights out, you might not get fired in a couple weeks neither. If you keep on throwing Dillon Gabriel out there, you're going to get fired in a couple weeks.
Of course. This wasn't just any week. This wasn't just any loss. This was a loss to the Jets. The Jets, a football team that somehow beat Cleveland while barely cracking a triple-digit yard total, which should be illegal under the Geneva Convention.
There was a question. Daryl Ryder yesterday said, Kevin, what progress have you seen from Dillon Gabriel? What areas have you seen drastic improvement? Okay, this is an opportunity for your head coach to go ahead and highlight some things about your rookie quarterback that you insist upon shoving down our freaking throats, and tell us what you see from Dillon Gabriel that you take away as a positive. Because we don't see it, obviously. That's why Daryl's asking this question. We don't see it. We don't see the improvement. We don't see the positives for Dillon Gabriel. So what are they? And here's how Kevin answered, or rather did not answer that question. He says, quote,
"They put up 169 total yards and still walked out like they had just invented football. Meanwhile, Cleveland had more yards, more weapons, more opportunities, and still managed to play as if someone swapped a playbook for IKEA instructions. And while the fans were still trying to understand how the Jets won with 42 passing yards, yes 42, the number of yards toddlers accumulate when playing Madden on rookie mode, whispers started creeping through the walls of the building. Except they weren't whispers. More like someone hooked the rumor mill to a megaphone and left it pointed at Stefanski's office. Apparently, an ex-Brown CEO, someone with actual pull and enough free time to make chaos a hobby, had decided he'd seen enough. Enough of the panic sacks. Enough of the "we didn't execute" TED Talks. Enough of watching Myles Garrett put someone 6 feet under only for the offense to respond with a punt. This mystery ex-CEO allegedly stormed into conversations, meetings, group chats, probably a few lunchrooms, and made one demand: bench Dillon Gabriel. Not think about it, not consider options, not evaluate the tape. No, he reportedly walked in like a parent who came home early and found their kid failing math. replace him now.
Kevin said after the game that he's sticking with you going forward. Not that he shouldn't, it's just that at 2-7 sometimes things change. But he's sticking with you. How do you feel about the opportunity to build on, what you did today and move forward?
Yeah, when things aren't going well, there's always going to be change. That's part of it, because keep doing the same thing and don't change anything, then it's insanity. But just I feel like at times there's things that went well and we sustained and executed, and then in certain moments we didn't.
Now, you'd think Stefanski would at least pretend to hold the quarterback accountable. Something like, yeah, maybe 6 sacks is too many. Or perhaps completing half your passes isn't ideal. Or losing to a team with the offensive firepower of a retired lawnmower is a problem. But instead, he marched into the press conference, didn't even watch the film, and proudly declared that Dillon would remain the starter after the bye week. Bold strategy. Kevin. Meanwhile, Myles Garrett is on the sideline looking like a man reconsidering his entire life. 5 sacks, and they still lose. The kind of existential crisis that makes a defensive superstar question physics, destiny, and offensive competence all at once. And then comes the moment. The reporter with the courage of 1,000 Spartans asks Dillon if he ever wonders when the team will turn things over to Shedeur. The entire room freezes like the Wi-Fi went out. Dillon blinks. He inhales deeply, and instead of declaring dominance, or confidence, or fire, or anything remotely resembling leadership, he simply delivers the spiritually defeated line every coach hates to hear. All I can do is control what I can control. Translation. Yeah, man, I know what's about to happen. Please don't make me say it out loud.
Dillon Gabriel, and I'm sorry, Dillon, you cannot play NFL football. This is like the AI Atlas. We've never seen it before. And after the game, for the Browns to just say, not even arbitrarily, they're saying it like it's the mantra of the team that Dillon Gabriel's playing again next week. Such a great exercise in incompetence that we should study this in some type of anthropology class at the highest level of educational institution in this country.
That right there is the sound of someone who already packed half their belongings in their locker, just in case. But that was just the appetizer. The real chaos lives behind closed doors. Picture a former Browns CEO, someone powerful enough to rattle the building but no longer obligated to follow HR guidelines, sitting across from ownership with a PowerPoint presentation labeled, "Why Dillon Gabriel Must Be Politely Escorted Off the Field Immediately." This ex-CEO is allegedly pulling up Colorado highlights, rewinding throws in slow motion, circling reads, pointing out traits like pocket presence and clutch gene, while Dillon's tape looks like a deleted scene from a sitcom. This is about ticket sales, merchandise, buzz, headlines, excitement, everything Cleveland hasn't had consistently since the city invented unemployment jokes. Shedeur's name alone sells out stadiums. Dillon's name currently sells concern. Imagine trying to hype season tickets with "Come witness the magic of 167 passing yards and 6 sacks." Meanwhile, Shedeur brings in fans, sponsors, hype videos, and people who only watch Colorado games so they can tweet excessively about him. Cleveland could use that energy. Cleveland could use electricity. Cleveland could use anything other than sadness. Back to the press conference. Dillon is asked about getting sacked 6 times, and his answer is essentially, "Yeah, I don't want to take those." Groundbreaking analysis, revolutionary insight.
Did anybody hear in that word salad of bullshit one thing that he can point out that Dillon Gabriel has improved upon or is doing well? Nope, I didn't hear it either. It's not there. He had nothing. He didn't have an answer. It speaks volumes that you can't point out one single thing that your rookie quarterback, that you handpicked, that you designated for first team reps and opportunities from day one of minicamp after he was drafted. All this time, 5 starts in the NFL, most starts ever in college football. You can't.
Insight. The kind of statement that changes the sport forever. Yes, Dillon, no one wants to take 6 sacks. No quarterback wakes up thinking, "Today feels like a good day to be repeatedly blamed." The problem is that franchise quarterbacks don't want. They avoid, they navigate, they step up, they escape, they improvise. They do literally anything other than stand completely still while danger approaches at the speed of disappointment. Shedeur, on the other hand, has spent entire seasons dodging defenders like he's in a paid partnership with chaos. Pressure. At Colorado, the man was practically playing behind a rotating cast of construction cones, and he still launched dimes like a malfunctioning t-shirt cannon. Saying things like, "You don't want to plant a seed and rip it up before it grows," is exactly what you say when you're asking the organization to please not replace you with someone who has highlight reels that start trending on social media every time he sneezes. Let's be clear. Cleveland didn't draft Dillon Gabriel to be the next franchise superstar. He was supposed to be a bridge quarterback, a stable guy, a placeholder who keeps the ship afloat. But instead of keeping the ship afloat, he's drilling holes in the bottom while the Jets row past him, waving politely. The ex-CEO isn't wrong. He sees what everyone sees. Shedeur has the leadership, charisma, and clutch ability to change the entire direction of the franchise. Meanwhile,
My lifetime, I have never seen an incompetent coach, an incompetent quarterback united at the hip with no end in sight. And I want to be clear, I'm saying this without mentioning the name Shedeur Sanders, because it ain't got nothing to do with him. He doesn't even have to be on this roster for this to be one of the dumbest decisions in the history of the NFL.
Meanwhile, Dillon looks like someone trying to remember if he turned the stove off. Shedeur brings something else to when things get tough, he doesn't crumble. He embraces it. He swears at pressure for not being strong enough. You can actually see him getting energized when defenders try to murder him. He thrives in situations where Dillon gently dissolves. Dillon's press conference didn't scream starter. It screamed accountant explaining a math error. The man delivered more generic corporate phrases in 10 minutes than most CEOs do in a quarterly earnings call. We'll execute better. We'll keep working. Momentum and rhythm. Control what I can. He'd glare at the microphone like it owed him money and explain exactly where things went wrong, who needs to step up, and why he's about to fix everything. Personally, that's the difference. Players aren't stupid. They know when the quarterback is holding them back. Myles Garrett nearly broke a franchise record and still had to walk off the field like someone stole his wallet. You think he's excited to keep losing games because the offense can't fire a single shot when it counts. The defense is out there working overtime while the offense is collecting participation ribbons.
Hi, this is Mary Kay Cabot from Cleveland.com after the Browns' 27-20 loss to the New York Jets, who had only one victory coming into this game, that being against the Cincinnati Bengals before their bye week. It's really quite shocking that they came in here and lost to this football team that basically conducted a fire sale during their bye week, trading away their two best defensive players. The opportunity was there to come in here for the Cleveland Browns to seize the moment and win this football game, but they gave up two kick returns for touchdowns.
Ownership has to be watching this meltdown with a mixture of horror and regret, and the phone calls reportedly happening after the Jets game. Completely believable. That loss was a turning point, a spiritual awakening, the kind of defeat that forces tough conversations and emergency meetings. When you lose to a team that can barely produce passing yards, something is deeply wrong. That's why the ex-CEO isn't being ignored. Not this time. He's pushing logic, performance, numbers. Tape-hard evidence that the Browns are wasting precious time waiting for Dillon to magically morph into someone he isn't. Stefanski, he's in a corner. If he benches Dillon now, he admits he misread the situation. He admits he misjudged the talent. He admits his quarterback evaluation resembles a dartboard more than science, which brings everything back to The entire argument boils down to this. Shedeur does more with less. Dillon does less with more. Imagine Shedeur in that Jets game. He doesn't take 6 sacks. He doesn't look confused. He doesn't panic. He delivers. He improvises. He elevates everyone around him. Cleveland wins by 3 touchdowns and the city throws a parade. Instead, Cleveland watched Dillon manufacture a defensive masterclass into a loss. Not easy to do, impressive in a tragic way, and as the ex-CEO reportedly said, champions don't settle for quarterbacks who can't beat the Jets. Brutal, accurate. The next few weeks will determine everything. Either
he would have been played Shedeur. Brian Daboll was like, you know what? I might lose my job. Here, Jackson Dart. Like, if you think you're gonna lose your job, you do move off of the cast. So Shedeur Sanders is Kevin Stefanski's ace in the hole. The reason Stefanski's not playing Shedeur in my mind is because his job is safe. James, I look at it like this. Jimmy Haslam, Kevin Stefanski, they're on one accord. Andrew Berry, general manager, he views it differently. I think Andrew Berry, the general manager, he wants Shedeur, that's why he drafted him.
Either Cleveland admits the obvious and makes the bold move, or they ride the Dillon train straight into more losses, more frustration, more press conferences full of passive acceptance and agricultural metaphors. Fans deserve better. Players deserve better. The organization deserves better. And he might be their better. The spark, the shift, the storyline that changes everything. Because one thing is certain, Dillon Gabriel isn't the long-term answer. He's barely the short-term answer. And unless Stefanski wants the next billboard to be his farewell tribute, he might want to start listening to that voice echoing through the building, a voice belonging to a former CEO who just kicked open the door, pointed at the depth chart, and said the one thing everyone else was too nervous to say out loud. And here's the part nobody in Cleveland wants to say out loud. but everyone is whispering anyway. The longer they wait to make this move, the harder the crash is going to be. Because if Dillon goes out there after the bye week and delivers another episode of quarterbacking for people who don't like winning, the stadium might actually boo in unison. Not the scattered boo, not the polite boo, the full volume, surround sound, hometown disappointment boo, the kind that shakes foundations and erases confidence.
The kid should have never been a top 100 draft pick. Like, we can start there. He should have never been a 100 draft pick. There is nothing about his physical makeup, his college tape, anything that warrants being a top 100 draft pick. They did it. They made the decision.
When I go on the internet, all I see is a bunch of dudes sitting around going, why are you not playing Shedeur? And why are you about it? Like they're playing the soundbite. He won't even say his name. He won't even say his name. What is that?
And what happens then? Stefanski walks into the press conference looking like he just read his own obituary. The locker room fractures even more. Veterans start checking out. Young players start questioning leadership. Meanwhile, Shedeur is sitting there on the sideline, probably wearing sunglasses and minding his business, knowing exactly what's coming. He doesn't have to say a word. He doesn't have to campaign. He doesn't have to lobby. All he has to do is exist, and the pressure naturally shifts in his direction. The fans feel it more than anyone. That's why this is bigger than one game, or one decision, or one uncomfortable press conference. This is about identity, about direction, about whether Cleveland wants to keep pretending everything is fine, or finally admit that the answer might be standing right there, waiting for a chance to take the wheel. Because eventually, someone in that building is going to snap and say it plainly. Why are we wasting time? Why are we pretending? Why won't we just give Shedeur the ball? And once that question leaves someone's mouth, there's no going back.